What's up guys, today we'll be going over the new raid exotic from Garden of Salvation, Divinity. And in this video we'll be breaking down how to get the weapon very quickly, then also we break down how good it is in PvE and PvP, and break down all the numbers and all that good stuff like usual. So this questline is pretty long and pretty complicated, and I just followed what other people told me to do, so out of respect of the people that actually found how to do it. And also Datto, he usually puts out really good detailed guides on how to get all these new raid exotics, so I'm going to leave that to him. I'm going to show you how to get the quest and get it to the raid step. But the raid step is very complicated, and I'm sure Datto will do a very good job of breaking it down. So once this video is up, I'm going to go ahead and link that for that part of the questline. Let me show you how to get progress up to that you can do solo. So first, if you go to Sorrow's Harbor on the moon and follow this path right here, you go to where the Vex gate is for the raid. Once you kill a few waves, there will be a little mini boss that spawns in. You kill the mini boss and you get the first step for the Divinity quest line. So as you see, this is the gate I am talking about, and you just want to clear out things over and over again. You can do this solo or with 3 people. Eventually this Minotaur will spawn, and once you kill him, you get that drop, and then you start the quest line. And there's going to be 4 or 5-ish steps that you can do by yourself before you need a full team in the raid, which is the complicated part that I'm going to let Datto explain in his video. So as you see right here, the first step is Vex Cores Analyzed. So you go to Nesses on Artifact's Edge, go into this Lost Sector down to the left. Then once you're in the Lost Sector, you're then go into this little new side room. It's going to be like a little Vex Conflicts looking thing. So what you want to do is go up to and interact with it, then it will spawn a few ads. You kill those few ads, and you interact with it again, then you are good, and that will give you 33% towards this step. You have to do it 3 times in 3 different Lost Sectors on Nesses. So this is the first one. The second one will be in the Cistern. You go into Lost Sector, the one by the Vex Milk. As you see right here, go down into this one, and once again there's going to be a new side room with one of those Vex Conflicts looking things. And this time it's going to be up on the right, as you see right here. Jump up in here, once again interact with the Oracle Conflicts looking thing. Then enemies will spawn, do that, and this will be 66%, so we need 1 more after this. Then the third one, as you see right here, will be back on Artifact's Edge. This time we have to spiral to a different load zone, so follow this path. You're going to go into the Lost Sector in the Tangle, this one up here on the right side of the area. Go down in here, and now there's going to be a new room kind of on the left in the middle-ish of the Lost Sector. As you see, you're going to have to go past the boss, and you jump up to the left, right past the boss, and once again, interact. There's going to be a few ads, then interact once again, and that will be this full quest step. And this one was kind of hard to find, but you just go right past the boss and it's on your left. As you saw, I know I sped it up, but you'll be able to find it. Now the last step that you can do by yourself before the raid is Decrypt Core Repaired, and you have to get 120 of these. And what this means is you have to kill Vex in the raid. So what we did was just load up the fresh raid, and you go up to this portal, and there's about 30 enemies that you can kill, and each one will give you one of the 120 that you need. So all we did was just load it up 4 times, and it appears that you can't do this in a fire team. You can, but the kills only count if you get the final blow. So if you want to be most efficient, do it by yourself. And after that, you go to the table next to Eris, and you have to buy this little exotic piece right here, which is 30 of the new moon fragments. So you have to have a full stacked cap to be able to buy it, and that is when you get to the full quest raid secret step, which once again I'm going to let Datto break down in his video, which I'm sure will be up very soon. I'll link it right away. So now looking at the exotic weapon Divinity, looking at the exotic perk, sustained damage with this weapon envelops the target in a field that weakens and disrupts them. Then looking at the second perk, targets under the effect of judgment long enough are struck with a burst of damage. And we have a few other perks, and it has an RPM of 1000 and also has a magazine of 194. So now first looking at what this weapon kind of does, well, it's exotic trace rifle, and it feels just pretty much like a trace rifle, but once you shoot it for a decent amount of time, it will do this burst of energy, which does a huge chunk of damage every time it happens, and it usually happens roughly maybe 3 times per magazine. Then also it obviously envelops the target with a new crit field. So looking at what that does, first with a hand cannon on this ogre hits 2100. Now my friend shoots Divinity and creates that crit field for me, and now hits 2625, which is 25% more damage to the crit. So it's buffing my damage by 25%. Now looking at what happens when I shoot at the body. So first it hits 1310, then if they create the Divinity field, I can now crit his toe for 25% more damage. So not only does it create a crit everywhere on their body, it also increases everything by 25%, but still crits are the most efficient way of doing damage. It just buffs everything by 25%. Now using a buff such as Well of Radiance, it hits 2625, now with the Divinity Judgment filled, and now it's 3281, so it does stack with buffs. Now let's try a debuff. With a debuff 2730, now with the filled it hits 3412, so it works with debuffs also. So now let's try with both the buff and debuff. So it's 3412 now with the filled around them, and now goes to 4265, which means it works with every buff and debuff in the game. Now trying a few other different combos, it works with melee also, as you see right here. Let's go ahead and try a grenade. Once again, it works with grenades, so pretty much it seems like it's working with everything, but let's keep testing a few other things. With super energy, does it buff super damage? And once again, it does buff super damage. So this is literally a whole new buff that stacks with both previous buffs and debuffs. So it's like its own little thing that works outside of the rules that are set in Shadowkeep. And right here, as you see, it works with explosive damage from a grenade launcher. So it seems to pretty much work with anything. Let's even try Lumina buff. So first without the buff, I hit that. Now with the Lumina buff, I hit that. With Divinity, it goes even higher. So it works with the Lumina buff also. It works with like literally everything in the game, which is amazing. Let's try with the Parrying Greaves combo. You see it hits roughly half of the health bar. Now with the Divinity filled, with the Parrying Greaves, now it hits almost 3/4 of the health bar. So once again, it still works with everything. Now we do the 1-2 punch build with Parrying Greaves. I'm doing 105 times melee damage. So how does it look if we pair it with something like Izanagi's Burden with Weapons of Light, Tractor Cannon, and Divinity? I now hit 171,000, which is 2.61 times the normal damage. So this is just another buff on top of everything we already have. Then on top of that, if you're the person shooting the weapon, every 60 to 70 shots-ish, it does that burst of damage, as you see right here, which hit 23,000 and chunked the ogre instantly. So your damage yourself while doing it isn't that bad either. So this weapon is amazing for fire team damage on single targets, and that is exactly what it's made for. The fact that it works with other buffs and doesn't follow the rule of only one buff now in Shadowkeep is amazing. It makes this gun so worth it and so good to have in almost every situation. If you're in a 6-man fire team in a raid, you pretty much always want one person using this, because if you get the other 5 people on your team a 25% buff, and when those buffs multiply against all the other buffs, debuffs, and things like that, the fact that you're buffing your teammates by that much is greatly outweigh the fact that you're losing the damage yourself. And like I said, if you're shooting only one target and you get that burst of energy every 60 or 70 shots of the Divinity, it's actually not that bad. That burst of damage does a lot of damage, so it's not like your damage is really suffering that much either. This is what I was hoping Lumina would be, where it paired with other buffs. But obviously Lumina didn't work. It does not stack. It's treated like an actual real buff in the game, where it does not pair with Well of Radiance or Weapons of Light. But this one does, which is amazing. It makes you want one of these weapons at all times. I'm such a huge fan of weapons in the game that have really good utility, that aren't just pick this weapon for good damage. There's so many weapons in the game, especially exotics, where you're pretty much locked to using them just because they're the best damage option in the game. For example, something like Izanagi's Burden or Whisper the Worm. But I love these other utility exotics like Tractor Cannon and now this, that you kind of want just to help your team. And exotics like that are really, really good in my opinion, and really create different dynamics in the game and gives a lot of new options to your loadouts. It's not just pick this weapon because it's the best and that's like your only option. So I'm pretty sure I said a lot about this weapon already. It works with everything in the game. It does not count as a buff, so it does stack with other buffs and things like that. The judgment field around the enemy makes the entire body of the enemy the crit, but shooting at the crit is still more damage, and that increases to 25%, so it's pretty good on par with something like Well, but obviously stacks with things like that, which I've mentioned a million times. I'm sorry if I'm repeating it over and over again, but I'm just making sure that is very clear. Anyways, like I said, the second Datto's video is up. I will link it in the description and in the comments. I like to respect other content creators' videos. That's something Datto's been doing pretty much forever, way before I started doing breakdown videos. So I definitely want to respect his territory. That's why I'm just going to link his video for the raid secrets once it's up. Anyways, let me know what you think about this weapon, if you have it already or if you plan on getting it. Like I said, it's definitely worthwhile. It's going to be like a must-have for almost all fireteam activities in PvE. Anyways, I did test this in PvP, and it was that same 25% increase to all damage, either weapons, melee, super, explosive damage, anything like that. So I didn't put that in the video visually, but that's pretty much what it did. It pretty much acts the exact same in PvP, and I don't see it being too useful there because once you proc it on an enemy, they're already pretty much dead. So it's not going to be like too useful there. It pretty much just feels like a normal trace rifle, so that's why I didn't put it in the video. Let me know if you got this weapon or you're going to get it in the future. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.